Who knows if you'll see a black cat run behind me? My daughter opened the door to the studio. Who knows? It could be a fun night. But I know we're in store for a great conversation as always because we have a fun guest. He's doing a lot of cool things and he's got a pretty cool background that I'm excited to get into. His new album, Lonestar, by the time this episode drops, is out officially. And he'll also be making his Grand Ole Opry debut that same day. That's a pretty good day to me, if you ask me. So let's welcome in country artist Alstyne Michael.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I mean, you didn't feel like spreading those out? I mean, I know like the opera debut, it's pretty much whenever they tell you you're there. But I mean, man, that's a lot going on one day.
Yeah, we're kind of at the grace of their scheduling, man. They got, I mean, I was even surprised to know they got like 4 or 5 different people playing that day, like the day I'm playing. So it's wild, man. They're just booked like crazy. But I'm very, very blessed to have the opportunity to play there, man. I'm very grateful.
I was going to say, hey, you got a lot to look forward to, and we'll get into all those conversations. But this is bar conversation, so I got to start off with my normal first question, and that is, what's your go-to drink? What are you drinking tonight?
I love it, man. You know, most of the time I'd be drinking. I get made fun a lot about this, actually. But my drink of choice is like a Crown and Sprite.
Oh.
I'm just not one for all the colors, you know, like all the Cokes and stuff. It's just too dark for me, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I had a good experience kind of getting off the dyes and really get away from sugar entirely. But, you know, Sprite's got a little bit in there, but at least it doesn't have the coloring. So I get made fun of a lot for that. But tonight, man, I'm just drinking water because I would be drinking with you. I'd love to, but I'm on a fast right now. I'm doing like I'm on day 3. I think the end of day 3 going into day 4. Yeah. It's wild, man. And I kind of made the mistake of not having electrolytes on hand, so I've just been like eating salt by the handfuls, you know? Like trying to keep my electrolytes up.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but no, I love that. You gotta save up for the Opry debut, the album party, all those things. I mean, you gotta pace yourself. So I totally get that now.
Absolutely, man. Especially nowadays, with all the crap in the food.
Now, you mentioned you like Crown. Do you drink? I assume growing up on a ranch, you've had a beer, a ranch water, a few different beverages in your lifetime.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got through most of my drinking days by the time I was 18. I was like, yeah, I think it's not for me. I'll drink a little bit every once in a while, but my choice drink is whiskey. I don't know why beer just never hit home for me. I mean, it's cold, it's nice. After a long day's work, I get it. But for me personally, man, I just poof up. I'd blow up like a balloon every time I had a beer. And I'm like, man, I feel like a pig right now.
You're like, that's not good. You're like, I don't like that.
Nah. Yeah, but I can sip on whiskey all night and be totally fine, you know. And then beer also, I'd get hung over real bad. I remember, I mean, I don't want to say how young I was, but me and my buddies, we had some wild nights, you know. I remember going through 12 and a 24 pack with just between me and my buddies. So we down a good amount of beer, and the next day you just felt horrible, man. But whiskey doesn't do that to me. So that's kind of my choice.
I like it. And I'm happy I picked this bottle because I always try to find a match, something like that. I was like, I don't have anything from Texas really at the moment. I've kind of gone through the Still Austin, the Balcones a good bit. But I like what you're
Still
wearing.
Austin right there.
I like what you're wearing though, because this bottle's got a horseshoe.
Dude, that's sick.
A little Green River wheated bourbon. So.
Oh, Green River. Okay, I have a Crown is great, but this is probably the best whiskey I've ever had.
Texas TX.
Texas whiskey, man. So good. So
I like
good.
it.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
If you're ever up in Kentucky, well, and I think this is elsewhere too, but look up the Green River. One, the bottle's awesome. Like I said, it's got the horseshoe on the top and everything, but it's only like $30, and it's like 5-6 year. It's fantastic.
I should have got some. I was literally just in Kentucky the other day.
So, and next time you're through, you have to look for some Green River at the liquor store.
I definitely will.
And I know we're talking about the horseshoe. You got the hat, you got the bottle. You're raised on a ranch out in Texas. I mean, what was it like growing up there and doing literally all the country things? I mean, you lived the life.
Dude, I mean, it was great. I loved it. It was quite an upbringing, man. I'm very grateful for the things that I was able to do as a kid and learn and experiment in life, man. I feel like I've lived a pretty, I don't want to say full life, but pretty interesting life so far. I've done some pretty crazy things. On the ranch, man, I worked a lot with horses. Worked a lot with cows and livestock in general. We had some donkeys and a bunch of dogs, more dogs than we needed. I mean, carpentry. I was introduced into carpentry at an early age, and then metalworking. And dude, I've just had creative project after creative project. I'd get into like archery and build my own bows and roping and make my own ropes, everything.
Well, and then like I said, you do this thing called music. So, growing up on a ranch in Texas, I'm guessing at some point in life you were exposed to Texas country and country music, but I'm guessing that's not all you grew up on.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, Texas, being a Texan and like hearing country music is just inevitable. Like Texas country music in specific, like Red Dirt, Red Clay Strays are kind of taking over that area right now. They're crushing. But man, yeah, I mean, I grew up on a little bit of Texas country and I loved it, but man, I got hit from all angles. Like my mom was she was big into pop and old rock and stuff like that. So I got like the more modern stuff from her. She'd listen to like a lot of the modern radio, pop radio, like I guess Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, stuff like that. Coldplay was a big thing on the radio. My dad didn't listen to much radio. The only song that he ever had and ever played in the truck was Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash.
I mean, there's worse ones that could be on repeat.
Right. And dude, I mean, I've heard that song probably a billion times. But man, I mean, growing up on Johnny Cash kind of led me to Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson and that whole crew, the Highwaymen and man, I mean, I loved all music. I mean, AC/DC, Coldplay, Justin Bieber, Merle Haggard was one of my favorites. Just because I think I related to the country music. I love the country music storytelling side and kind of the tough guy, like, Folsom Prison. He never went to Folsom Prison, but I guess he did to play a concert once, but he never was in Folsom Prison. So it's like that kind of storytelling, cool guy energy was really interesting to me, really intriguing. And I guess maybe it resonated with me because I kind of lived that lifestyle that, I kind of thought I was cool and tough and living on a ranch and just storytelling, man. We'd always exaggerate with all of our stories and stuff.
No,
so like
there's no such thing as a fishing tail or a hunting tail.
Right. The fish was this big, right?
Oh, well, and you talk about like, you grew up, like you mentioned, music's what you do now, but like you grew up on the ranch. You were, hunting, fishing, horseback, and you mentioned too, you got into rodeo and roping specifically. What drew you to roping? And even like you said, you built your own jigs, you built your own rope machine. I mean, like you went all in.
All in, man. I've never been known to be like get halfway interested in something for some reason, man. I mean, it's either a blessing or a curse, but whenever I get into something, I'm just like completely get consumed by it and obsess over it, and I don't stop digging in or learning or building until I feel that I've like satisfied that craving, like, okay, I know enough about this topic, I can move on to the next. But yeah, man, like roping in particular, I grew up, like my dad had a bull, what do you call that? Roping dummy. It's like a bull head, like a steer. And so he had that in a rope for as long as I can remember. It'd be out in the front yard and I'd be like messing with it. So I've been playing with ropes for a long time. But man, like growing up, I had a few family members in the rodeo circuit. Like one of my man, I don't even know who he is. Like how he's related to me, a cousin or uncle, something. I don't know. We have a really big family, so that's why it's real hard for me to keep up. But this guy, whenever we get to like family get-togethers, dude, I mean, there's like 150 people there. Like it's a huge family. So this guy, I don't know how I'm related to him, but his name was Slim, and he was a bulldogger and a roper. And he had like this whole wall of buckles that he had won, and I thought it was the coolest thing. His name was Slim, but we called him Rope Man. And man, ever since I was little, I remember looking up to dude's like 20 foot tall, you know. And I remember looking up to him, thinking he was the coolest thing since sliced bread, and just like, man, I'd love to do that one day. So it always kind of been in the back of my mind. And then when I reached about maybe 12, 13, I just completely obsessed over it, man. Like working on the ranch, like there was a little bit of necessity. Like it was kind of cool to be able to reach things that were 20 foot out of your reach, you know? And it's like Spider-Man, you know, like you're sitting there like you're like open a door 20 foot away, you know. That's kind of how it felt. So a little bit of that, like just the cool factor, but then also, I mean, it was very useful on the ranch, you know, not only for livestock, but dude, I mean, little tie down ropes, like you would not believe how often I'd use a little tie down rope to like hold the trailer gate back, or you know, to like hold the fence back or something, whatever. And man, you used them all the time. And yeah, I got into like making my own ropes. So I made this jig that would like twist the rope, and I'd wax them, and I'd make my own. But yeah, man, I guess like living on the ranch and working with livestock a lot, and then understanding that rodeo was kind of a graduation, or maybe like a sports version of the ranch lifestyle. I guess I was just like naturally interested in it because that was a little bit of my life. And rope, like wrangling the cows. Like we had a neighbor that we'd let their cows graze on our property, and I'd wrangle the cows up every night back into his property just for fun. You know, it wasn't really necessary, but you know, just to keep from liability of like if one of them got hurt on our property, you know, overnight, we wouldn't want that kind of deal. So I'd wrangle them back up into his pen at night, and you know, a rope would come in very handy, even if I didn't have to use it, just swing it around a little bit. And man, I mean, yeah, I loved it. I got obsessed with it. I learned roping tricks and made my own ropes, the whole bit, man.
Well, and you talk about like that drive to just learn. I also loved reading up that you learned to weld, and you did it like the hardest way humanly possible to
Yeah.
make your dad a double barrel smoker for like Father's Day or Christmas or something. I mean, like, what was it like to just do? I mean, like you said, you just dove in and you'd figure it out.
Dude, yeah, 100%. I mean, most of my life was just trial and error. I mean, one of the things my dad told me that was like ingrained into my mind growing up was you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be as long as you're willing to pay the price. So that was ingrained in me ever since I was a kid. And so there was nothing I genuinely believe I could do anything, you know, and I think there was a superpower in that like I had the confidence going into it. And, you know, if I messed up, I'd figure it out, you know, just kind of trial and error. And so welding wasn't much different, man. I think we had a MIG, but for some reason I started with stick welding, which is pretty difficult, I'd say, maybe compared to MIG or TIG. But yeah, it's like the old version of welding, man. I thought it was pretty crazy, and if there's welders out there, they'll understand like the difficulty of at least a beginner trying to weld a half-inch piece of square tubing to an 1/8 inch thick barrel. You know, like the metals are so different in thicknesses that like the amount of time it takes to melt that real thick metal is way longer than it does the eighth. And when you're trying to weld them together, it's like, oh, difficult. So, man, there was a lot of trial and error in that project. But, yeah, man, I was about 12 years old when I just figured I went up to the shop and spent hours learning how to stick weld. And I built a little double barrel smoker for my dad for Father's Day, I think. Or maybe it was Christmas, I don't know. And, dude, he had this, like, it was so sick. In the Ram truck he has like a Longhorn version. It's like the leather interior version, and it comes with like the sick plaque kind of thing that's on all the seats. It's like this little metal logo, and it's so sick. It's got a Longhorn on it and stuff. Well, he had like replaced his seat covers or something, and so those were just laying around. So I had like welded that to the front as like a centerpiece. I went out and cut down cedar branches to like make them the handles. Like it was pretty cool, man. And we made a lot of briskets on that thing.
I was gonna say, if music never worked out, you'd have a lot of options on the back burner. But music's doing well. And I also heard that your first instrument was a little plastic guitar that you could barely play. When did you realize you wanted to trade that in for the real thing?
Man, I mean, like, I think actually the first instrument I ever had was like a ukulele. My parents came home from Hawaii one time when I was like 2, and they had bought a little ukulele. I didn't know what I was doing with it. I never learned to play it, but I would just like, there's a video somewhere floating around there where I'm like 2 years old and I'm singing Wild Thing. That was one of my favorite songs as a kid for some reason.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, and Wild Thing. And I was just like sitting there strumming the heck out of that little ukulele, playing it like it was an electric lead guitar, but it didn't sound great. But the passion was there. I thought it was pretty cool. But I think I graduated from that at 6 years old to Guitar Hero. I think my dad and my brother got it on Wii or something like that.
Also, you're now making me feel really old because I wasn't 6 when that came out, and I don't feel like I'm that old.
I think it was like Guitar Hero 2 or 3 or something.
Oh, that's not helping. That's not helping.
But either way, man, it was killer. Like that thing came out and they got it, and I was just like, I was sitting there learning every song I could. I mean, I wasn't actually learning guitar, but the buttons and the idea.
You're
like
beginning the feeling of what you're supposed to sort of kind of do.
You felt like a rock star, dude. And I got so good at it by the time. I mean, at 6, like I said, I obsess over things like that. Maybe call it ADHD or ADD, whatever. Blame it on my ADD, baby. Sorry, another ADD moment.
That's okay.
But yeah, man, I get like so obsessed and hyper focused on things. And at that time when I was 6, Guitar Hero was a thing. So I spent like all my time sitting there just like strumming that thing. I got good enough to where I could play expert and I could play lefty flip. So I could flip it over and play expert. And then I would show off with my family and I'd play it behind my back and stuff. I thought it was the coolest thing. There's a video going around somewhere of me. I think it was like a Halloween thing or something, and it was some sort of party, like dress up party. And I had Spider-Man face paint on. I have like my whole face is painted like Spider-Man, and I'm sitting there playing the Guitar Hero thing, and all my brothers are like, "What the heck? He's like a child prodigy."
Oh, well, it's working out because you're doing it, for real now. But you mentioned your brothers, but it was your sister who actually pushed you to record a video of yourself singing and stuff like that, post it online, and then lo and behold, American Idol found it when you were, I believe, like 15 or whatever. What was it like to do that and then get that and, end up on American Idol?
Man, I mean, it was unexpected for sure. I wasn't expecting that at all. I kind of learned to answer your last question as well as a segue into this. I forgot the second half of your last question was, when did you decide to trade the plastic one for the real thing? I was 12 years old and I bought a raffle ticket to win a guitar, and I just happened to win it, and I was like, heck yeah. So I went home, started trying to learn, like, I think Walk the Line was one of the first ones I learned. Walk the Line by Johnny Cash and Wanted Dead or Alive. Those are like my 2 first songs on guitar, and I just play those over and over again. Well, I was like 12 when I picked it up, and then I set it down like every guitar player does. I set it down. I was like, yeah, this is too hard and not for me. And I picked it back up about 14. When I was about 14 years old. And I did it just kind of like a back road party trick, like go to the back road parties with my buddies, kind of like impress the girls, whatever, you know. That was kind of the intent behind it. I didn't really care to do it as a career, but my sister saw something else in me, I guess, and she was always my biggest fan. She kind of pushed me to make it, or like really consider doing this as a career. But like I said, I just kind of did it for fun. But she pushed me to post a video online. I don't think I had social media at the time, and so she was for a year or two begging me to post a video, and I was like, I don't care about that. I don't care about the social media guru stuff, you know. And she was like, no, just do it, like, please. And so after a while of her just begging me to post this, I was like, all right, whatever, forget it. And I just like recorded a video. I set my phone up, recorded a video of me playing like Fire Away or something by Chris Stapleton, and posted it. And she freaked out, sent it to her friends. Her friends freaked out, sent it to their friends. And then somehow it landed in American Idol's lap, dude. And the producer hit me up and told me, hey, we'd love for you to be on the show. I thought it was spam, so I ignored the dude for months. And like he'd call, I'd answer, like, hey, this is American Idol. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Bye. And for like 3 months, this dude was so persistent. At one point, I was just like, all right, dude, what's up? He's like, listen, man, my name's so-and-so. I'm from American Idol. I'm legit. These are my credentials. He, like, had to prove himself. He's like, whoa, don't hang up. And he's like, I am from American Idol. I am a producer on the show, and we do want you to come out and audition. And I was like, shoot, man, no. I was like, this is not what I'm going to do. And so that dude was so persistent, man. After I told him no, after no, he kept coming back. And he was like, dude, I really think you got something. Like, come on. And I was like, you know what? It's not what I think I'm going to do long term, but it'll be a cool experience, and it'll be a cool story to tell my grandkids one day. You know, like, hey, your granddad was on TV. So I was like, you know what? Screw it, man. You only live once. And I went out and did the whole audition, and then it just kind of snowballed into a passion for me.
Well, and you, at the audition, if folks don't know, you ended up on Luke Bryan's shoulders, and you roped Katy Perry. But my favorite part of the whole story, though, is I believe you're packing up stuff, and you had packed a rope, and your dad asked you why, and you're like, well, you never know when you might need a rope, and boy, you were right.
Dude, seriously. And like I said, man, I just obsess over things every once in a while, and like I get into something and I'm into it, you know. And roping was the thing at the time, and I really thought that's what I was gonna do, and so I had it on me all the time. And dude, I forgot my toothbrush, but I brought my rope, you know. And my dad, like, we're unpacking we just get in the hotel room, we throw the suitcases on the bed. I'm unzipping my suitcase. First thing I pull out was my rope. My dad's like, what the heck do you bring a rope for? And I was like, Dad, you never know when you're going to need a rope. And he was like, whatever, kid. And then sure enough, later that day, I ended up using it. And it's kind of cool because I never, as much as I loved roping and as much as I thought that's what I was going to do, I never won a buckle doing it. I never really like truly competed roping. One, I like team roping is one of the big things. I couldn't find a healer, so that was a problem. That was a setback. So I was like, all right, I'll learn tie down. And I started getting good at that. And right about the time I started getting really good at that and considering entering the circuit was when music kind of fell in my lap, and I had to take hold of it, man. But yeah, it's funny. I never won a buckle doing that. But I think I'm the Katy Perry world champion roper. So I had a buckle made like Katy Perry world champion Katy Perry roper or something like that.
I love it. I love it. Well, and you know, like obviously, like that moment, kind of. Well, it didn't kind of. It definitely went viral, and but really though, from that moment, you did sing, you did perform on the show too. The feedback you got there though is really on that side of things is kind of what made you realize, like, hey, maybe this could be a thing. Like maybe it doesn't have to be roping. Maybe music.
Absolutely, man. What's so interesting about it is, I mean, going from a kid who lived practically under a rock, like I never was out in the city, never in the town. Like I was just always out on the ranch. And you could probably tell it by my level of competence, but But yeah, man, I spent so much time out on the ranch, going from just a kid living under a rock to small town famous was crazy for me. Dude, I'm not kidding. There for about a year, I couldn't go anywhere without getting noticed. And I thought, and I'm such a people's person, man. I will stop and talk to people for as long as they want to talk. And it's just that small town kid in me, maybe, you know, like I'll sit down and meet somebody at the grocery store walking by, and we'll sit there and talk for an hour and a half. Like I'm just that way. And so my family got so mad at me there for a little bit, because literally anywhere we go to, a grocery store or the gas station or Six Flags, and my friends would get mad at me because anybody that came up and asked for a photo or autograph or just to talk to me, I'd sit and talk for as long as they would. And dude, I mean, it definitely took a few hours out of a lot of our family trips, but it was so cool, man. Like, just so interesting. And I was like, man, if I can relate to people and impact people doing something that simple, like, why not? You know, and the reaction I got from that audition really is what kind of inspired the thought that this could be a long career for me. And that I thought, I think, just stemmed from all these comments, man. I got a lot of people saying, you should keep going, or you should have won, all that kind of stuff on American Idol. Like, I got a bunch of really good feedback, and everybody was kind of just hyping me up and telling me they'd love to hear music from me. And at the time, dude, I knew half the 3 songs. Like, I was on American Idol. I literally hopped up there and played half the song and was like, all right, that's it. They're like, that's all you know? I was like, yep. They're like, you're on national television and you didn't care to learn the back half of the song. I was like, no, this is what I know. I was like, I could play another half if you want of a different song. And so man, like, I was like, man, if they hear that and they're impacted from that, like, maybe I should try to write something. About that same time, I ended up meeting a girl who's now my wife. And, you know, ladies have a way of bringing you on an emotional roller coaster. So I wrote a lot of songs. I wrote a whole album worth of songs when I first met her. And I just learned, like, it was more of like an escape for me. Like, songwriting was like a way to kind of convey what I was going through at the time into song. And I just saw the way that people were able to connect with that, even metaphorically. And I was like, man, there really is something to this. And in the midst of, like, songwriting, and then I went in and recorded that album in a barn, like, the whole process, man, I just fell in love with it. I developed a passion for music after I started writing and everything, and realized how powerful music really is.
Well, and look where it's led you. Like I said, you got the new album by the time this comes out. Lonestar, I forgot to say it at the top of the show. Lonestar will be coming out. But also, like I said, you're going to be making your Grand Ole Opry debut. Now, I know by the time this comes out, you will hopefully have got to experience all the amazing things of it. But leading up to it, how does it feel what was it like, one, to be told you're going to do it, and then all the emotions after?
Dude, I genuinely was in denial there for a little bit. I was like, a lot of people think that I just, like, broke out in tears. And the first, like, few seconds, which felt like an eternity, was like, no freaking way. Like, did he
like,
just say
you're like,
that?
I'm an imposter. This isn't right.
Yeah, it kind of. Yeah, like that imposter syndrome thing, man. I was like, there's no freaking way. It's been a dream of mine. Like, my granddad is it's been a dream of mine to play the Opry, just like most musicians. And my granddad's getting older, you know, and unfortunately, you know, he's starting to lose a little bit of his memory, his sharpness maybe. And he's convinced that me and him, I did a song with him. Like, when I did my first album, I wrote a song called the Grandpa Song, and I had him come in and sing on it. Well, I guess that was, like, one of his favorite memories, because he has not forgotten that. And now at this point, he's convinced that me and him have played the Opry many times over, and we've had number one after number one. We're just, like, world sensations, and I'm like, you know, it could be worse. So I'm all for it, man. I love him to death. But there was something I literally said, which was such a God thing. I literally said that day, which happened to be my granddad's birthday, my granddad's 85th birthday, when they broke the news to me. But that day, I was sitting down with the band, eating catering at lunch, and I was telling them about my granddad, and I was like, look, there's just 2 things I have to do before he passes, thinking it would take me years to get there. I'm like, there's just 2 things that I have to do. I was like, man, I got to get a number 1 on either a Texas radio chart, an iTunes chart, Billboard chart, somewhere. I got to get a number 1. And 2, I've got to play the Grand Ole Opry. And then, by the grace of God, a couple hours later, Justin Moore's telling me on stage that I'm playing the Grand Ole Opry. It was just such a surreal moment, man. Like, I have no idea how to put it in words. It was like just insane. Like it was an out of body experience. I just like left there for a minute. I was like, "There's no way," and then I came back and he's like, "Let's play some Hank Jr." And I was like, "Heck yeah!"
You're like, "Okay, whoa, okay, we're still live. Okay, we're still gonna do this." I mean, but I mean, for you, like obviously, like I said, you got the album, you got the Opry debut, and your wildest dreams when. Obviously, like you said, you hope for things, you pray for things. In your wildest dreams, did you ever think you'd be playing the Grand Ole Opry one day, roping with Post Malone and things like that? I mean, like
that's another thing. Yeah, that's pretty. Crazy.
Like those moments in life. I mean, like pinch yourself, right?
100%, man. And I've never really been one to get starstruck, so that's kind of helped me a little bit in this industry, like I just see people. I'm a people's person, so I see people for people, like who they are, like even when I went on American Idol, I remember how crazy it was for me to see from a different perspective, like how other people reacted to the celebrity thing. I had never been that way, like in my perspective, they're just people that are good at what they do. And I have respect for them, a high respect for the celebrities and people. Like, obviously, they've worked their tail off to get there. So, mad respect to you, and you do it well. But at the end of the day, man, you eat, sleep, and crap just like everybody else. I'm not going to, like, bow down and treat you like a god. So, I just talk to them like they're people, And so I remember, like, in American Idol, people would come up to me going, the second I walked out of the room, they're like, "Oh my God, how white is his teeth? How much makeup is she wearing? How tall is she? Is he really that?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like you guys need to chill. Like just go in there and figure it out yourself. They're cool folks. And man, that kind of helped me, I guess, when I met Post, because that dude, he is the most genuine person I've ever met, and for him to be at the top like that has completely set the bar for me. Like. I've met a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, a lot of big shots, people that think they're the coolest thing since sliced bread. But this guy, man, is the most humble, real, genuine person I've ever met. And so we just kicked it off immediately. I think like I could just feel that about him. And he was like, I guess right back at you. And it's been really cool, man. I've hung out with him a few times. And one of the last times we hung out was till like 9 o'clock in the morning on his bus, listening to music like demos and some old country. And like what's cool and something I really respect about this guy is when he went to, I don't want to say genre change or whatever, but like when he really made the switch from whatever genre he was in before, pop or indie, whatever you'd call that, and switched over to country, he didn't just like throw a plastic cowboy hat on and say, Texas Hold'em, this is my country album, And he's like, instead, this guy really embraced the lifestyle. Like he went and met as many people as he possibly could that lived this lifestyle. He's from Texas, so that helps. And he was aware of it, but he kind of went back into it, man, and completely embraced it. Like him being interested in roping was insane. I'd never thought that Post Malone would have been interested in roping, and he just so happened to like have a roping dummy backstage at one of his shows when I was back there, and I was like over there roping, kind of teaching other people how to do it. And he came over, he's like, "Dude, you got to show me how to do that." And so we spent a few hours doing that, and then the next time I saw him, he would send me videos of him like roping. He's like, "Dude, I got it down." He's like, "It feels so good." I'm like, I'm telling you, man, it's addicting. And then next time I saw him, man, me and him were just like, it was kind of like that roping team that I never had. It was so cool, you know. And we called ourselves Austin Squared because he's Austin Post and I'm Austin Michael. So I was like, that's hilarious. It's kind of a little inside joke, but yeah, man, what a genuine dude, and life is just so surreal, man.
I,
So crazy.
I mean, you just never know where the roads will lead you. And, like I said, Post Malone, the Grand Ole Opry, you got a busy March because you're releasing your new album, Lonestar. And you've described Lonestar as both the symbol of your roots, because obviously Lone Star State,
Yeah.
all those good things, but also lends to just kind of who you're becoming. So what does it mean, that album mean to you, and that title of the album mean to you?
Man, I think maybe the best way to put it in words is like finding yourself, and I say that in like a real way, you know, not maybe like the cliche way, like just be yourself kind of thing, but truly like understand it because I've always been kind of the outcast. I went to school for a little public school for just a little bit before I was homeschooled, and there for a little bit, man, I was just always the kid in the back corner, like my head in my hood, like didn't care to, you couldn't wear a hat at school, so I couldn't wear my cowboy hat. I couldn't do like, whatever. So I'm always like sitting there in the back with my hood up, and I was just always like trying to hide away, and always felt weird, like an imposter, and just different. I got made fun of a lot, and man, I think that kind of led me to understand who I was, and instead of like allowing the world, because I'm pretty stubborn, I got that Texas attitude, I'm pretty hard headed. I get that from my dad, but man, like maybe it was just that idea of nobody's gonna change me, man, and instead of like bending the knee and becoming and changing who I am to try to fit in with what the world thinks I should be, just be myself, be who God made me, and I want to express that. And I think like really truly embracing who you are and standing by your roots and your morals and your integrity, like actually caring,
Mm-hmm.
and acting on it, man. I don't think there's anything much more important than that, like really. I think it kind of comes down to integrity, like having the ability to stand by your word and have a line. Unfortunately, a lot of men nowadays don't have one, and I think there's just something important about like having morals and not being afraid to speak on them or stand by them, and just being yourself, like always.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, talking to folks on the show, the one thing I think all artists eventually, uh, when all of a sudden everything just kind of lines up, the sound lines up, the songs line up, everything just kind of lines up, and they're like, this is me, not something that I'm, like you said, you're not trying to be somebody else or whatever
Mm-hmm.
the boxes you check off. And on this album, you wrote or co-wrote all 13 tracks on it. Why was that so important to you? I'm guessing because if it's, you're talking about your life and things like that, you really wanted it to come from you.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a part of that. And when I first came to Nashville, there's a big songwriting scene out here. Not just like in the sense of writing any song, but I mean like storytelling, songwriting. And so I kind of went down that road a little bit too, where I'm big in philosophy and metaphorical stuff. So even telling stories that might put me in somebody else's shoes in a way that might help them through a time or help them relate to this kind of thing, even if it's not like what I'm going through right now. I think there's a power in that, man. I think there's something that music is a universal language, and I think it brings us all
Mm-hmm.
together. And there's a couple songs, like I'm not much of a drinker, actually. I have a lot of whiskey songs, but I'm not really much of a drinker. If I do drink, it's whiskey. I'm not saying I don't ever drink, because I do, but I've never had a problem with it, man. I've never been a drunk. I've never been like that. And for some reason, the songwriting scene likes to write about it a lot, and I had to fight that a lot as much as I could, and I tried to turn it into a fun thing, like why not whiskey, and even like some of my older stuff, like Ain't Got Me and Whiskey on a Wildfire, stuff like that. Just something that's a little more metaphorical or something that people can kind of listen to and insert their own story into. It's not just like I'm a drunk and I lost my dog and my wife and my, everything's going to crap in my life and dog got run over by a train, whatever. It's raining outside. The greatest country song. I was just like, man, that's as cool as that is. It's not me, and I also kind of believe in the importance of what you believe to be true and what you say, and I think there's an importance on what you sing, especially if you're going to be singing it over and over again. I think maybe I shouldn't be manifesting that I'm a drunk, So I tried the best I could to make it not so much that. So I have a couple more philosophical or metaphorical songs like Cowboys Don't Act Like That. I have one that's a little more political. It's kind of like standing by what I believe in and going back to my roots, which is Texas Hold'em. A little more nostalgic, like truly probably the realest song for me is Back in the Saddle, because that's like truly the situation I'm in. It's pretty much about moving to Nashville and living in a concrete town and wanting to get back in the saddle, back home and back to your roots. And then Cowboys Don't Act Like That is a story about how I met my wife versus how like the world expects you to handle a breakup, how the world expects man to handle a breakup versus how I did. And I ended up with the gal. So, there's a lot of really cool Easter eggs in this album. Every song is like a baby to me. Everyone means something to me. Even though like, why not whiskey? Don't get me wrong. I love to kick back and have a good time with my buddies, but I don't want people to get the wrong idea that I'm just like a drunk or something,
You're just a lush.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a songwriter, man. I enjoy like putting myself in other people's perspective or in their shoes, walking a mile in their boots. I enjoy that. And then also if there are a lot of people out there that struggle with that, and if there's a way that I can kind of like make light of it or maybe relate to those people and help them out of it or help them through that time. I think there's a power in that. It's something really cool.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a lot of the songs I love. One of the ones I love, and it's kind of fitting that you talk about, I don't think you've ended up on a Barstool too often, but is the Bottom of the Glass confessional Back on a Barstool. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. But I mean, like, on that one, you're kind of being raw about the self-inflicted heartache, mm-hmm. And I guarantee you there are a bunch of us in life that have probably been there and can feel that, and
exactly
they see themselves in these songs.
Absolutely, man. And at that point, that was one of the first songs I wrote when I went to Nashville, and even though like the story behind that song is not what I am currently experiencing, it's an emotion I can relate to, and it's like that feeling of helplessness or like earning for something that just seems just a little bit out of reach. Like it's deeper than just the drinking for me, man. It's the story and the moral behind the story to me. So I really enjoy storytelling, and I enjoy like putting myself in other people's perspectives. I think especially me not going through that right now, it gives me an interesting way to kind of live it,
Absolutely. And like I said, you co-wrote some songs. You had a little creative chemistry with Sergio Sanchez, Earned Heartache, Whiskey on a Wildfire. Dude. I mean, what was it like to work with him and kind of have that chemistry and build some really cool songs?
Dude, he is such a legend. I gotta like brag on him for a minute because he's truly such a good dude. Like he's one of the guys that I could call anytime, 2:00 in the morning, and the dude would like pick up and talk to me. Like he's just always there for you. He's one of the guys I'd call if I got broke down on the side of the road. He's just a genuine dude, man, and he's real. Like if I need a genuine opinion, I'm calling that guy. Like I know he will tell me if it sucks. Like he's like, nah.
He's not gonna bullshit you.
Yeah, this one's a little a little fruity, you know. That's not that shouldn't be on the album. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And the dude's he's real. He's a real guy, and he's not afraid of like hurting your feelings, which I respect. I love that. That's one of my characteristics that I admire in a person. And dude, above that, he's an insane songwriter, insane producer, like just a genuinely good dude, good hang, good write, like all around great guy.
Well, and you know, in addition to him, you've gotten to do some cool stuff. Like you said, Justin Moore was who, you know, got to tell you everything. You've been on the stage with Chris Young, Randy Houser. You know, what's it like to, you know, pick the brains of some of these guys? Because I feel like just knowing who you are, and you're not afraid to ask a question and learn something. I mean, what's it been like to be around folks like that?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been really, again, another surreal, like just surreal. Like I call them God winks when something that obviously isn't something you could have orchestrated. When something goes as planned, and it's obviously something that you didn't orchestrate, and it just happened to like aid or push you in the right direction, you know, like that's a God wink to me. And so getting the tour with Justin Moore and Randy Houser and Joe Nichols was just a God wink after God wink for me. And it's very surreal to sit down and talk to the guys that I grew up listening to on the radio. You know, like even if my dad didn't listen to much of the radio in the truck, I got exposed to it just about everywhere you go, in the grocery store or wherever. And in Texas, you're always playing 99.5 The Wolf, you know. Oh, but anyway, I don't know if you know that, if that's just like a regional thing.
No, it is not. Let me put it to you this way: Nashville, yes, a lot of people I've talked to, but I've talked to a lot of people from Texas.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that would have been really weird if I just howled for no reason. But that's something they do on the radio show. But yeah, man, like I've been exposed to a lot of country music through the radio, of which like Justin Moore, Jason Aldean, Randy Houser were dominating during that time. And while I was growing up, man, it's just so cool to sit down and listen to like Till My Last Day. Like that was one of the real nostalgic ones for me, man. I remember going to the Hunting Lease and listening to that on the radio, like out with not only my dad but a couple of his buddies. They'd be playing the radio all the time, and a lot of it was Justin Moore, like Till My Last Day, or what's that? Lean That Seat Back, Steal My Ball Cap, Letting the Night Roll or something. That one, like
I think so, yeah.
A lot of his songs, man, just one after another. And watching him play those live still to this day, like it's just literally makes me cry every time, dude. Like I will sit there and watch the show every time, and I'm just so thankful to God and to my management and to everybody that's helped me get to where I'm at now. My wife, like I'm just so thankful that I'm able to be on the road with somebody like him. He's just such a good dude, man. Like genuinely.
Well, and like you said, you get to be on the road, you get to be on this stage, and it's one thing to write the songs, it's one thing to record the songs, it's another to bring them to life, you know, where folks can get to enjoy them. What's the best part of being on stage and getting to share those songs?
Well, man, like being on stage was like the showmanship part of it was honestly one of the things that I got to experience with American Idol, and then shortly after that really helped me develop a passion for it. And that's when you not only like know or intend for this music to touch people, but you actually get to witness it. Like you actually get to see people cry to this song, or be happy, or drink a beer, or like kick back and laugh with some friends, or whatever. And that has always just been a very important part of it for me. Like that's every time I go to a show, I'm like, that's what I do it for. And there's I think the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So a lot of people can have a hard time playing a live show, especially acoustic. That's what I've been doing a lot of. It can be hard to captivate a crowd with just you and an acoustic guitar, you know. But me, man, maybe it's just the Texas attitude in me. I'm just like, listen here, bud. I ain't singing another note until I hear you guys clapping You know, like I'll make them clap a beat, or I try to get them engaged somehow. And I know there's a little trick, man, is don't think of it as 5,000 people. You just get that one person out there clapping, and the rest of them will follow. The second that one person steps out and is like, all right, well, shoot, okay, this is what we're doing, then everybody is like, okay, well, he did it, I can do it, you know. And if
They
you
got
can
the
break
permission
that,
to have fun.
exactly, you kind of have to like give them permission to have a good time. And so I try to invite that as much as I can, and I try to get them riled up for Justin Moore, Randy Houser, whoever I'm opening up for, and yeah, man, it's crazy. I love the live show aspect of the music industry.
Well, like I said, I mean, there's something special about the live show, and it's one reason I love asking this question, because, you know, at the start, got to ask you what you're drinking. At the end, or toward the end, I love to ask this one, because for everyone it's different, because, like you said, doing it live is something, you can change up a song, you can do all sorts of different things. So what is your favorite song of yours to perform live right now?
Dude, that's so tough. I don't know. I'd say it depends on the feel, man. It really depends on kind of like what energy I'm getting from the crowd, you know. I've had a lot of really special moments to Cowboys Don't Act Like That. That one's been one where I've had like the flashlight moments too. Like you just see like a whole arena light up with flashlights to this like kind of sad, self-reflecting song, and there's some tears, and there's some, and that's probably the one I get compliments on a lot of them, but that one's probably the most. Like people will be like, man, that Cowboys song, like it just hit me like a freight train. They were like, I did not expect that flip at the end, and so that one's probably one of my favorites because it impacts people. But when it comes to like getting into it, man, Ford versus Chevy is where it's at, dude. Especially with a full band. That show just, when you have a full band with you, there's just an energy there that I'm like, I can move around, you know, because right now I'm just acoustic. So if I move around, all you hear is an acoustic guitar. So as cool as it sounds in my head, where I hear like the whole band and I'm rocking out, you know, everybody else just hears like a strum, and they're like, what the heck? This dude thinks he's cool, you know. And so it's cool to actually be able to have a band and that energy, and allow, like, have the ability to move around on stage and really entertain the crowd, like have a good time with them instead of just being stuck playing the songs that they can have a good time too. So yeah, I'd say it's different for every show, maybe different for every feeling too.
I love it. And see, that's why I love the answer, because everyone's so different. Sometimes it's like, man, it's this one song because we did it this way in the studio, but man, out here we've slowly changed it up, and I just love it. Or
Yep.
you know, my band gets to do a solo or whatever, and I just love that, because I think that's what's so cool about a live show, is you get to see something different really every night, because like you said, the mood's different every night.
Yep, dude, and the energy's different every night. So like, and I've seen even big acts have a hard time with certain crowds before, and it's tough to watch, but I mean, you can only do so much. There's been some tough crowds, but hey, you try your best and try to have a good time. And what's funny is some places are just kind of like that. I think Texas kind of is that way sometimes, where people can be very, like, it doesn't look like they're having a good time, but they are. You know, they just look like
Well,
they're
that's me.
judging you
I'm just
almost.
awkward. I don't know what to do. I just stand there
Yeah.
with a beer in my hand, and I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. They just kind of sit there and stare at you like, okay, cool. And then they'll leave and tell all their buddies about it and how good of a time it was, you know. So you never really know what somebody's got going on in their own head. But and that's why it's important not to kind of get in your own head on stage, because it's real easy to be like, oh, dude, they hate me. They think it's horrible or whatever. And that just leads to a horrible, like, you might miss a lyric, and I've learned if you focus on it, it only gets worse. Because, like, again, kind of like I said, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And so if you mess up a lyric or something, I've had times where I just, like, sit there and go, oh, my God, they all heard that. They all think I'm dumb. Like, I forgot the lyric to my own song. They all probably think I'm horrible. and then you're going down this road, and then you forget the next lyric, and then you forget the chords, and you're like, forget it. There's been times where I literally just quit the song. I was like, forget it, man. I sucked at that so bad. And but yeah, man, like I think there's an important part of the showmanship where you gotta kind of just be a machine sometimes, especially when it's harder. But some crowds make it super easy, man. Like a lot of crowds, I'd say, make it really easy with the energy they give out. So I love every bit of it, man. Every bit of the live show, like the sad, the slow, the fast, the fun, the upbeat, the party
I was
songs.
gonna say you can give them the whole range of emotions in one night.
Exactly. That's kind of what I think is so cool about music is that, like I said, it's the universal language. So even if they can't necessarily relate to the exact story, they can relate to a feeling, or they can relate to, yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's really just a feeling. Man, I know what it feels like to be in that situation, or even just the sound of the song. Sometimes, like a lot of people, they'll understand the melody long before they even understand the story of the song. You know, like, and that's one thing I've noticed is that people will oftentimes, and that's one thing I've like put a lot into songwriting is I think the melody's most important, because when somebody's like, oh man, what's that song? What's that song? They don't go, I've been barrel racing ever since she left. They go, na 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 na, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's barrel racing, you know. So that's the thing that's really cool about music is that even a melody can tell a story. You know, it's so cool, man. It's just so interesting that God made music that way.
I mean, it's fantastic, and it's why I love doing this, having the conversations, because you get to learn a little bit more behind the music and why something's that way, and like you said, people can see themselves in different stories, and you know, Lonestar is fantastic. Everything I've gotten to hear so far, you've got the album dropping, you got the Opry. What else? Without getting yourself in trouble, I'm gonna preface this: without getting yourself in trouble, can fans expect from you the rest of 2026?
Man, just you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm gonna be working as hard as I can towards shoot even another record. But we're gonna try to keep putting singles out. We might have a couple more singles on this album that might come out as a bonus track, maybe. Who knows? And man, I'm gonna be working my tail off to try to get this music out there enough to where I feel that it's been justified, you know, or it's been done justice. You know, I think this album, especially considering how much time and like it's taken me 3 years to do this album, and it's all like very intentional and trying to find who I am and what kind of sound I want. I don't want to copy anybody else. I want to be me, and all that's been very intentional, and the storytelling and then picking the songs, like every bit of it I've been involved in and very intentional about, even down to the list of the order of the songs.
It's been a slow burn,
you know?
right?
Yeah, dude, exactly. It's been a slow burn for a long time. And so, yeah, man, I'm going to work my tail off trying to get this album out there so people can hear it and hopefully enjoy it as much as I do. And then we're going to be working on another record and some more singles, so maybe we'll have some more music. I will say I think we're going to do, we might do like an acoustic version of this album or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to try to get this thing to go number one, man. Like I'm believing for it. I'm like putting it out there, like number one, Lonestar. Like let's make it happen, man.
Hey, it is a fantastic album.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I'm loving what you're doing so far, and man, I think folks are gonna love when they get to listen to Lonestar and go down that rabbit hole of Austin Michael and everything he's got.
Absolutely, I hope so, man. I really appreciate you being willing to sit down and talk to me and let me kind of tell my story. Even though I can be a talker, man, I have like a loose cannon mind.
Well, then it's probably a good thing you were behaving yourself with water tonight, right?
Dude, seriously, because that
maybe that's why I have a bar conversation. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I will say it does loosen people up sometimes. Me, I don't really need it. I'm just kind of already there. But yeah, man. Thanks for enduring all my rants.
Hey, man. Thank you for sharing your story, and you know, I know you're behaving yourself, but thanks for sharing a drink with me, man. Cheers.
You bet, man.